How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Bodacious Rant. Hope everybody's had a good summer so far. We are now in August. That means the summer's almost over, and we're already going into fall, which is kind of mind-blowing. I mean, I know we say this all the time, but time just goes by way too fast. So, oh, God. But today is a good review because we are talking about the newest edition in one of the most popular franchises of pop culture, essentially, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, which is, it's not directed by Seth Rogen, was it? It was just Seth Rogen's involved in it?
Yeah, I mean, Seth Rogen and his partner Evan Goldberg were the writers and producers on this one, but this one was mainly directed by Jeff Rowe, who's another animation director that's worked on other things like Mitchell's vs. Machines and a few other things here and there. I think this is like his first solo animated directing movie.
Well, I think they did a great job for it. And we'll get into our non-spoiler in just a second, which, again, we're not going to go super deep into the story or anything, guys, so don't forget that. And please do not forget to give us a like, ring the bell, and, of course, subscribe. We appreciate you all and are happy to be doing this for not only just ourselves, but for everybody. So it's great stuff. So like Bern said, this is actually the first animated movie in over 10 years because they did one in, 07, 08 or something like that. It was a while ago.
Yeah.
They did one, and that one was definitely a little bit more serious. I feel like this is the first positive one they've done in a while because the Michael Bay ones were just weird. They try to be too dark and serious with it. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this, but
yeah, they got that Transformers effect going on in those two movies, which I don't hate those two movies, but they're not the best, to be honest, even though I do like the second one more than the first one.
Yeah, the second one actually I felt like did more justice for the brand than the first one did. The first one was just, I was trying to be like Transformers, just so much going on and stuff, and Shredder looked like a Transformer, where in the second one he actually looks more like Shredder, so I like that aspect of it. But anyways, so this one takes place current day, and the animation is definitely along the lines of Across the Spider-Verse, not in the comic book sense, but almost like, because the creator or something like that, he had some involvement in this movie too, saying, this is what I sketched and this is what became, this is what I started essentially. So I think there was a lot of inspiration from just the original sketches, which was pretty cool, very unique, definitely different. But I didn't mind it. It's hard to explain in this, but
yeah, it was a cool 3D version of it. It's almost felt like stop motion at times. But yes, like you mentioned, it does have that sort of heavy penciling effect that were present in the original comic books. From the original creator and stuff. So yeah, that came through for me too.
Exactly. And this time in the movie, this is the first one too where they're actually played by teenagers, which I thought was a very good detail for this. Very family-friendly movie, and essentially it's about them current day, where these four kids are just trying to make it work being, mutants, mutant Ninja Turtles really, but also trying to explore the real world while dealing with the flip side of that, where mutants are kind of wreaking havoc on the world as well. So they're between a rock and a hard space essentially. And it's got such a great cast. I think all these kids are unknowns, in all honesty. Let me see if I pull up the cast.
I mean, I've never heard of them before, but yeah, they sound like you mentioned, they do sound a lot like teenagers. And I was seeing some interviews and stuff where Seth Rogen was mentioning that during the voice recordings that they were all recording in the same room. And that really showed, I think, in the way that the characters bounced off of each other. It felt very naturalistic in the conversations that they were having with each other. And again, it felt just like kids goofing off and things that they would say. It's definitely like Gen Z Turtles, but for some reason the movie sort of feels like it's aimed at millennials. I don't know if you kind of got that vibe.
No, I definitely got it. I think I think one of the reasons I liked it too is that it really blended not only the original fans of it, but also had so many current references in pop culture that younger kids and just teenagers can really relate to and stuff. I mean, I don't know. We're considered old, Bernie, so who the fuck knows what's relatable anymore. But yeah, so I really liked NICOLAS CANTU as Leonardo. I thought, it's funny. Growing up with Power Rangers, I always wanted Raphael to be the leader because he wore red, but Leonardo's a true leader in this one, especially because he has the katanas and stuff. So I was like, all right, fine, whatever. I thought he was great. Micah Abbey as Donatello, he was straight up funny. I think and then Brady Noon as Raphael, he was just awesome. He captured that just because he's the more like rage-filled one of the groups. So I thought that was great. And and Shannon Brown Jr. as Michelangelo. Actually, that kid does look super familiar. What was he? Let me see if he's been in anything. Nope, still haven't seen him in anything. But they were all great. I think that was the best casting for these guys, for the kids, for the Ninja Turtles. And I didn't realize it, but the girl who played April was the same chick from Bear, which I burned through season 2. Man, that was so great.
Yeah, Io DeBerry. Yeah, she's really good. It's cool that starting to see her like appear in a lot more things. Now, except when the Bear came out a couple years ago, last year. But it's cool to see like her pop up in a few things now, and I think she did a really good job here as April. And yeah, the kids were all they were all fantastic. And as much as the lore and like of the Ninja Turtles sort of like changes from like every adaptation, the one thing that they have to nail is these characters and these kids and their personalities, and all these actors that you just mentioned, they fit them to a T. Of course, my favorite is always Michelangelo, so I was very, very happy how they portrayed him. And I think for the first time ever, I liked Leo. I've never been a Leo guy myself. He's always been kind of portrayed as the stick in the mud of the group. But here, I really liked him and his character progression, and of course how he was portrayed in this one, and voice actor. So yeah, all around they did such a great job.
And the other one I was surprised too was who played Splinter, their rat father, as Jackie Chan. I thought that was actually really well done, just because, especially there's a couple scenes where it's like you could imagine how Jackie would be doing it in real life. So I thought that was really well done. Really portrayed him across the screen. And again, the cast with this is stacked. Like, you think Adam Sandler's movies are stacked with all his buddies? It's like, dude, this is up there with that, and it was so great. Like, we had Rose Byrne as one of the characters, John Cena, Seth Rogen. No matter what he produces, and he's actually, I think he's one of the best producers in Hollywood right now. He knows how to pick his projects and work with them.
When it comes to nerd culture, for sure. Just look at this movie, Invincible, The Boys, The Preacher, like all the stuff he's touched lately when it comes to like comic book properties. It's gold. It's all really good.
He's in this. Paul Rudd was one of the funniest ones, and there's a good little couple jokes with him. One of the Natasha Demetriou from What We Do in the Shadows is in it. I'm so surprised at how many people they got for this movie, and it's awesome.
Ice Cube as Superfly too, really good.
Ice Cube was great. When I hate to say it, when is he not? Even in a bad movie, he's still enjoyable to watch. So I really liked him in this one, and overall, I would say this is it's a family friendly movie. Maybe a little bit more for younger generations and stuff. In all honesty, I could just be overthinking it, but that was just my gut feeling watching. I was like, yeah, this is definitely more of a kids movie. But we're like Across the Spider-Verse has a little bit more mature themes. Not to say this one didn't, but this is definitely more family friendly. So, with all that said, the great cast, awesome animation, the comedy, the action, I'm definitely gonna give this a 4 out of 5, just because it's still a great movie. And if you have kids or anything like that, this is definitely one to watch with them for sure.
Yeah, man. All the things you said about the cast, they're great. The animation is really well done here and has a very particular style. Even if that style isn't always my favorite, there's still like certain design choices that they have with the human characters that I have a little bit mixed feelings about. But even then, just the way it's all done, it's executed really well, and the action really shines with the animation here. And one sequence in particular, I thought this like rivals anything that's in the Across the Spider-Verse, which is the other great animated movie that we've got this year. The soundtrack is great. Like I mentioned, how the Turtles feel like they're Gen Z, but this movie is aimed at millennials. This has so many 90s hip hop hits that just hit those nostalgia buttons for me. And the fact that the original score is made by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, of Nine Inch Nails and multiple Academy Award winners for like Social Network and Soul. You know, their score for this movie was really cool. You know, I wouldn't have picked them to score a Ninja Turtles movie, but they did, and it sounded really, really dope. So, yeah, overall, this is such a fun time at the movie theaters. I think this is kind of the adaptation of Ninja Turtles that we've been waiting for, especially after, you know, the last couple movies didn't really hit the nail on the head. This one, I feel like is bringing it back, and I know there's potential talks for like sequels and TV shows and stuff. Whatever it is, I'm down because I just love this interpretation so much. So yeah, all that being said, I'm gonna give this one a 4 out of 5 as well. Definitely as a Turtles fan, I'm really happy to see them get done justice. And you know, it says Rogan, he's the guy.
All you need to do is do a Power Rangers movie and do it right, and then we got something going.
Oh.
I mean, because like I didn't care for the last one. Like if we're on 90s like pop culture stuff, I didn't care for that one. It tried to be like Michael Bay stuff where it was just like super alien, and I get it, but at the same time, like, no, it just doesn't work for it, man. It looked weird. Like let's do a mix of like what the Bat and the Sun productions do, like those like, you know, mid-range like production studio. You've seen that stuff, right? Lord of Draken, or yeah. We just need a combination
like
of that.
The Versus videos. Yeah, those are really cool.
We need a combination of that and the original Power Rangers movie from the 90s to just make a baby together and let's have this. But
or maybe they should just do an animated thing. I mean, like animation is having a major comeback, like in the last couple years alone. Like there's been so many good animated movies, and from other studios that aren't Disney. It feels like for the first time ever, Disney and Pixar are kind of the ones playing catch up when it comes to, you know, getting very creative with animated movies. I mean, look at this year alone with this movie and Spider-Verse. Elemental felt like it really couldn't compete with those two, I think.
Yeah, I think I saw some that just broke even, but that'll be a conversation for another day. Everyone, if you have seen this already, what did you all think of it? Did you like it as much as we did? Were you not a fan? Will the animation throw you off? We'd love to know in the comments. So let's keep that conversation rolling. We also got the Meg 2, The Trench, come out this week, so we'll probably talk about that. What we were thinking about doing a Talk to Me review, but that movie sucked too bad. I couldn't do it. I'm sorry. I'm not even gonna give a rating for that one right now, just because. Don't get me fired up on it. But
I liked it. I'll just say
I did not. But we'll talk about that later. Other than that, everyone, stay tuned for other reviews, and as always, stay bodacious and keep on ranting for us.
Absolutely, everybody. Be good, be safe, and as always, we'll catch y'all on the next one.